we'll get up and get our acceleration here at the Ranger. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a 2022 Ford Ranger XLT with the FX4 off-road package. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller, Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with this Ranger. Check out the inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, I just released my car buying course, so if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link in the description down below to that as well. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.3 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 20 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 270 horsepower and then 310 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the XLT. So you can see this one obviously is finished in what we will call work truck white. You've got the raised hood on either side, and then coming down below, you guys can see that we've got the halogen bulbs for the lights. You've got the metallic front grille here with the Ford logo there in the center. Fog light off to the side, parking sensors here down below. And then notice you got the tow hooks, and notice how that pops up prominently in silver there in the center. So it kind of has that cool like Raptor type design. And yeah, there is the front end. Coming around the side here, we've got two 65mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the design here on the wheels themselves. You've got this dark metallic gray, which I think looks really good, contrast the white on this truck pretty well. And then there's a quick look at the front suspension. And then notice we've got the fender flares here. We've got the side steps as well. And then notice that the mirrors match the door handles and the Ranger XLT logo here, but notice we've got more metallic gray around that. Got our FX4 off-road sticker there on the back. And then here's your full side view on the truck. And then notice how the fenders kind of bulge out in the front and in the rear, so it looks pretty good. And then you can see here we've got the leaf springs there in the rear. You can see the tires are a little bit more aggressive as part of that FX4 off-road package. Now popping here into the bed area, we've got a payload capacity of 1,480 pounds. And then you guys can see no bed line or anything like that, but that's easy to add after the fact. And nothing too crazy happening back here. Pretty basic setup. We've got the cargo light there. And I guess I'm doing things out of order, but also here's the key fob for the Ranger. Got the flip out key. It comes with pretty normal functions. Does have remote start as well, as you guys can see. And lifting up the tailgate, relatively light. Finishing things up here in the rear, you guys can see we've got the signature Ranger taillights, which are pretty large for the truck. Parking sensors here on the bumper, and then notice the camera just down below the Ford logo, and then you've got Ranger stamped into the tailgate, and that's all for that. And here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see the cloth trim with the padding just down below. Got a good old door handle, and then here are the seats in the back, so you guys can see the cloth trim with the stitching, and then you got the rivets here in the center of the seats, and then you guys can see again with stitching there, and side steps making in and out pretty easy. So popping in, there's the legroom. You guys can see headroom as well, and then notice we've got some USBs, and we have like a full outlet back here, which is pretty cool. Armrest cup holder situation, and let's head to the front. And here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see again with the cloth trim and then the padding down below. All of our window controls, a little door handle, and then a door lock and unlock. Again, blind spot monitoring here for the mirrors. And then here are the front seats. So you guys can see again the cloth, with kind of the rivets here in the center. And you can see the stitching and everything on the side. Got your power adjustments there, and it's partially manually adjustable. And then you can see pedal layout down below. Got our light control here with the mirror adjustment here, so it's not in the normal place. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's remote left before you pop in. So here's the steering wheel in the Ranger. You guys can see the padding all around. Got the stitching here in the center. Got our volume controls over here. We've got the controls for like the phone controls, voice command, home button, all that fun stuff. We have adaptive cruise control on the other side, and then controls for the center stack. Got our turn signal stock, got our windshield wiper stock, and there you go. Here is the center gauge cluster setup. You've got RPMs on the left side, on the right side you've got the speed, and then we've got these menus you can scroll through here in the center to give you different bits of information here on the Ranger, like the fuel economy. You guys can see all the different stuff that you can go through, so nothing too crazy. And we do have some different drive modes. So we've got our normal, grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, and sand that you can go between from a drive mode perspective, and there you go. Here is the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it in reverse, we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel, and got the zoom function there as well with the receiver hitch. Resolution on the camera is great. As for the rest of the infotainment system, response time is really good with the screen, even though it's got the plastic wrap cover over it, so that's definitely a big positive. And then you guys can see from a climate perspective, we do have dual zone climate, and that's all. So we've got our analog controls here for the radio, climate controls just down below. We've got heated seats here for the front, and then notice we've got a couple 12 volts USBs, and then you can see we've got our off-road cruise control, got the trailer tow mode, parking sensors, auto stop start locker for the rear, stability control, and then you guys can see the drive line select, so 2-wheel high, 4-wheel low, and then again the drive mode select. Got the shifter for that 10-speed automatic. It does have a manual shift function, and then we got our sport mode, a couple cup holders, center console, nice Ranger logo, and you guys can see here with the glove box setup, and then finishing up top, we got a sunglass holder. The window can be opened, but it's manual, and yeah, that's all. So here's our window sticker on this 2022 Ranger. Feel free to freeze frame if you want to read through all of the standard equipment, and you guys can see off to the side with the optional equipment. Anyways, there's your total MSRP, $42,375, and well, let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's go over visibility before we set off. There's visibility over the hood, both mirrors, which do a blind spot, then throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So we are setting off here in this Ranger XLT. This is obviously kind of like the middle of the line Ranger, and this is the one to get if you're kind of wanting to get, I guess, the best bang for your buck, right? Because it's got a lot of options, but the price isn't as expensive. And initially setting off on the Ranger, first off, what you need to know, ride quality is really good with this truck. For a mid-sized truck, it's very smooth, and dampening on it's actually really good too. Even though this isn't like as cool as the Tremor, you know, from a shock perspective, it still is pretty good at absorbing things. And then on top of that, right, another cool thing about the Ranger is the handling with this and the steering. Steering's actually pretty direct for a little pickup truck. And then obviously handling's great because it's a little pickup truck. And then you got tons of torque from that turbocharged engine. It just gets up and moves. We'll get an acceleration though here in a moment. I'll actually pop into the S mode for that. And then, you know, seat comfort's really good. These seats aren't quite as comfortable as like the seats in the Tremor, for example, but they're supportive and they're comfortable. So I'd have no problem with daily driving this truck from a seat perspective. And look at that, AMG GT. I feel like I only see like the fully loaded ones of those. I never see the base models. People either buy a fully loaded one or they don't buy one at all. So I think that's kind of an interesting thing. It's a good looking car though. I know it's not part of this review, but it's a good looking car, that is for sure. Man, where did this traffic come from? It's like no traffic, and now all of a sudden we got like all of the traffic ever, basically. But looks like we got a little clearing here, so we'll get up and get our acceleration here at the Ranger. Yeah, that 2.3 punches. That's one of the big benefits here of the Ranger, is that it's turbocharged. And you know, a lot of mid-sized trucks aren't. They're just naturally aspirated, and so they just don't have the punch at elevation like this truck has. And it really does feel good, and it feels quick. Like, it's a mid-sized truck that feels quick, and you can't really say that about really any of the other mid-sized trucks at this point. Even the Nissan Frontier that has the most horsepower in segment doesn't quite feel as, you know, punchy and lively as this does. So yeah, it's definitely something you should consider if you're looking at a mid-size truck. And I guess selling things up here with this XLT package, you know, I say this a lot, but it's true. It feels like this has everything that you need and nothing that you don't need. It's got, you know, the heated seats, dual zone climate. It's got, you know, parking sensors. The FX4 package gives it some off-road capability. So it's got all of that, but it's, you know, doesn't have any like extra frills on top of that. And, you know, that's why it's a little bit less expensive from a price point perspective. So yeah, if you basically want the Ranger that's got everything that you need, XLT with the FX4 package. And if you want to take it up a notch, you could obviously get the Tremor XLT. That's all. That's going to sum things up for our video on this 2022 Ford Ranger. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with the Ranger. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see you guys.